So it was started by two retired colonels and a Navy guy coming out of San Diego. We had a great program to help veterans.
And so now, I mean, what do veterans look for? I mean, how did you get started? Were you looking for a home yourself and saw a market there? How did that get started?
Well, to get started, I was retiring from the Navy, like you said, in 95. Bought my house through them. I got a call and say, hey, looks like you fit right into our program. Come on in, and went through the schooling. And since then, I've been working with there. A couple of years later, I got my school done and became the managing broker for the firm.
So, and so now that you've done that, so you guys pretty much focus on veterans. Correct. But we were just talking about before that these aren't necessarily veterans coming home immediately. Right. This is more veterans who are a little bit more established within, the community, I suppose, not overseas. So do they come find you because they are veterans, or how does somebody realize that you're there?
Well, a couple of different ways, through media, through the newspaper. Basically, the location we are very visible, so we have a lot of walk-in traffic. And more than anything else, is by referral. We're there to help the veterans, so if they have any questions, they'll come in and ask. And plus, we get a lot of referrals from, believe it or not, from other companies that don't know how to have their clients use the veteran benefits, so they send it to us.
And so what are those benefits, and what are some of the big veteran benefits?
Well, the biggest one is a veteran can buy a home with no money down. They're allowed to have the buyer pay for their closing costs. So basically, they can get into a home with zero money out of their pocket. Their lending restrictions are a lot leaner than the conventional counterparts. So it's a great program for them to get in. Also, one of the big things that a lot of people don't know about is reservists. The Congress had passed a bill that reservists can purchase homes using their VA benefit, and that bill was just extended last November. So people that were in the reserves or National Guard with more than 6 years have the same benefit as the active duty counterparts.
So most of it is on the financing side. I mean, is that fair to say?
Correct. Most of it's on the financing side, they do, and on the property itself, they do have some restrictions, but there's not many. It has to be a house that is in good shape. They cannot buy a fixer-upper. It has to be their primary residence. So that's the main thing.
But and so when people come to you, and I mean, so they get their financing in order, is there a community that you, or an area of Seattle that you tend to focus on?
Well, our office is in Snohomish County, it's in Everett. Mm-hmm. So basically we cover Snohomish County, King. We go up to Skagit. So we put them into a educational process. It takes about 30 to 60 minutes, and basically educate them in the home buying process and talk to them about the difference between VA and the other loan programs that are available, why the benefit is so good and so easy for them to use, and they should be they're entitled to it, so they should be using it.
Well, I would imagine that what they learn overseas, or while they're in the military, or what they learn at Boeing, is about 180 degrees different from what they probably learned from you guys about buying houses.
Yes, it is, but the biggest thing is having a program. They understand the structure of a program, how a program works, and if you have something set up for them to that you can explain to them, it's very easy to them to understand and follow up that procedure.
Do most people most veterans end up taking advantage of the program once they know it's there?
Yes, once they know it's there, plus once they know what the benefit is one of the big things. And the other thing is that a lot of them not aware of that they can use the benefit more than one time. So basically how the benefit works is it has to be their primary residence. So if later on they decide to sell it, they can get the benefit back and they can reuse it again.
It seems like a great program. We've done veteran loans or VA loans, over in our office. And what I found is that most veterans, they don't even know it's available. And on the flip side, a lot of times you don't even find out they are a veteran until sometimes it's too late to even use the program.
Right. Well, that's without an itch, it's basically when they come in, they want to use their benefit. They want to find out what's going on. So that we don't have that problem. Our biggest thing is trying to encourage them to use that benefit and to get all the answers. One of the things that is really easy is through the loan process, they get basically it's easier for them to get a VA loan than sometimes an FHA or a conventional loan because the structure is a lot different.
Well, and ultimately less expensive. I mean, when you don't have mortgage insurance, you can put zero down. Seller can pay all your closing costs. It's really a truly great program, and I would say probably something that's underused.
It's very underused, and unfortunately, our real estate market and a lot of our lenders don't know how to use the VA program and how it works, and they're afraid of it. It used to be a nightmare 15, 20 years ago when I bought my first house. It was 6 months to close a house. Now it takes the same thing. 3 to 6 weeks, you can have a VA buyer into a property.
Right. Yeah. It's everything has been streamlined. That's for sure.
Yeah. The biggest thing with that is they just took before the VA had to do everything, and they got smart and said, well, if we train the lenders and we get an underwriter to be qualified for that, we can streamline that process and basically put all that stuff into the underwriter, and she can review and approve all those loans. Right.
I mean, it's really a similar process as buying a house in any other way. It's just using a different style of loan, but there's not a lot of other big parameters. There's no other timeline needed.
No, it's not a timeline. Like I said, the biggest thing is it has to be a home in good shape. It cannot be a fixer-upper. It has to be a primary residence. So that's the main two. Some of the issues that we're going through now is with a lot of the bank-owned stuff that's out there, and that the house being abused per se. You have holes in the walls and stuff like that. Well, those homes cannot go VA, but it can go VA with assistance from a different different house programs like House Key and stuff like that we might be able to make it work.
Well, certainly, Dan, it's a great service you guys are providing with veterans, helping them understand what's available to them and really available, because so many veteran services, you always hear the horror stories about things that the government isn't doing for veterans when they come back. It's nice to know there is something that is continually being done, and certainly we appreciate that.